How about now? Can you hear me? So that works. So you couldn't hear me talking the entire time. Gigi's telling me. Hold on. My mic was muted, right? I can't hear you. Okay, I fixed it. I think I fixed it. Did I? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think I fixed it. Thank you. Bye. Yeah. Bye. You guys are amazing. That was weird. Something happened with my loop back. So what I usually do, did you hear any music? Well, you didn't even hear none of this? No, that means you didn't hear it. What happened here? Let me see. Let's get this fixed. So I use loopback. Let's see what's happening here. Maybe this unmuted stream deck audio. This is fine. Interesting. I fixed it. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the mime dance. Well, so much for that. Interesting. So I use loop deck to get the sound up, and I have something called, that's so weird. So it seems like my loop deck isn't getting any sound. It's not seeing any sounds at all from any of the sources. So yes, you hear the music and buzzers now, definitely. So you heard the music before. No, you heard the original music, because the original music, so you heard this music and you heard this music because this I have brought into via eCam. But the other music you don't hear, and I wonder why that is. Because the other music, I have it with the loop back, where I created additional microphones. Let me see. Let me turn this stuff off. Virtual microphones, and that's so weird. Huh. Okay, I'll mess with it afterwards. All right. Hi guys. Day 22. What is going on? Let me just click on this over here. Oh, I'm knocking things down. Don't get too excited. Day 22, 78 days to go. And yes, I have my timer on. I have this timer on. Today we're going to be very short and sweet and to the point, because I have to continue doing my recordings. I have about 20 minutes, 20 videos to record. The good thing is that each video is anywhere from as short as 3 minutes to as long as, I think the longest one I've done so far is about 7 minutes. It shouldn't be any longer than 7 minutes. But I have until Wednesday afternoon to get this done. Tomorrow I have 2 meetings that I have to do. Work meetings. I have a meeting at 11 a.m. Lies. I'm still on the fence about the third one, because on Wednesday evening I have a business mixer, another business mixer. So I was going to go to a business mixer on, now I have to get my days right, tomorrow afternoon, but I just have, I have another meeting that someone scheduled with me at 2:00 in the afternoon. So basically the short and narrow is that I have at least 2 meetings, quite possibly 3 meetings, plus the live stream tomorrow. So that limits my time hugely. That's not even a word. Huge. Let me lower that. But that does limit the amount of time that I have. And then on Wednesday, I also have a, they're called ERGs, employee resource groups, which it's like, the African American resource group, the Hispanic employee resource group, the young professionals resource group, the LGBT resource group, veterans. So there's all these employee resource groups. I'm a part of 3. They wanted me to be a part of more, but then here we are. So I am a part of 3 employee resource groups. So that's the LGBT employee resource group, which the networking mixer I went to last week at Topgolf. And then I'm a part of the women women, I don't even know what our exact title was, but it's professional women's employee resource group. And then I'm also a part of the Young Professionals Network employee resource group. So, okay. The point is that this week is all the meetings and I'm like, okay, pick and choose. And so I have to record these 22 videos by Wednesday, because on Wednesday evening, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is my time, I will be on a Women in Tech panel with Katie from Ecamm. Ecamm is hosting it. And it's me, Evie, Nikki Saunders, and Mary Lou Mandel. Amazing lineup. Hello. How great of a lineup is that? And so I need to have this kicked off by then. And so we are this timer that you are looking at, that you guys feel like it's all a suggestion. This timer over here, that's a very real thing. And we're going to cut it probably. I'm going to live stream for 20 minutes because I haven't even eaten dinner. And I also need to keep recording between today and tomorrow. Let me check on you guys in the comments. I'm upset. I wanted to have some like background music on, and I don't know what's happening with my background music. Probably the short and narrow answer is that I probably need to restart my entire computer, which we're not going to do now. So I guess we won't have any background music, and I guess that's all right, right? Yes, that is okay. So let's see. Simply Obs is here. You are amazing. Gretchen is here. Thank you so much for showing support. I appreciate you. My homie Gigi is here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this young man right here, the Fryer Place, I know all about you because Keith is like my big brother. Yes, so you are Keith's big brother, and Keith is like my big brother. Welcome to the club. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for watching. I know that you got a whole setup that Keith helped you out with, and it is super amazing. So I'm very happy that you are here. And for people, when I really want to rep and show you how happy I am, this is how I really do it. Oh, it messed up. Hold on. Darn it. See, this is what happens when you start messing around with stuff and you don't test. Let's do this. So I was unplugging and plugging. So I'm going to do this again for you. Let me go back and I'm going to do it the right way. Lush cracking. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you showing all the love. All right. Mr. Camera Junkie. Que lo que Luis? What's going on, brother? Sounds like a stellar group. Yes, right? They are. They are all right. They are all right. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. You already know. And Keith told me, because listen, that you're is from, that's the Brooklyn girl in me. You're all day, every day. And apparently when Keith and I first became friends, Keith said that in Philly, it's also your, but there is a T at the end. Is that correct? Do you co-sign that? Because he says that now that I'm from Philly, I got to be like yurt, not yurt, but yurt. What's up? So let me know. Are you co-signing that? Is he accurate with that? Because, Keith can't be having me in these streets looking like, Dwayne, thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. Dwayne says, just dropping in to say hello. Wanted to say you were here. Doing my show in about 45 minutes. Love that you are here. 79 days to go. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. There you go. You already know, Dwayne. See? That is what I'm talking about. And I guess it is yurt Philly, because now, I got my home out here, so I got to rep Philly. Although the Brooklyn girl, what do you say? You can take the girl out of Brooklyn, but you can never take Brooklyn out of the girl. That is such a fact. Okay, super facts, major facts. But, I have, Philly has just coveted a special spot in my heart. I absolutely love Philly. So, hey girl, hey, how are you doing? Shout out to the Northerners. All right, shout out to you too. 100%. I love you guys. You guys are so awesome. Gretchen says, yurt, a little domed hut to camp in the Northwest. Yes, yurt is what the Northwest Dictionary, a little domed hut to camp in, a yurt. Well, that's funny. East Flatbush, Dwayne, see, I know, that's family right there. What I am talking about. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I grew up in Canarsie, the streets of Canarsie. My dad and my mother met in Flatbush, where my dad was living when he passed away. He was living right on Nostrand Avenue, right by the junction. For those of you guys that know Brooklyn, know New York, right? Right by the junction. They met there in Flatbush. And then my one grandmother, my mother's mom, lived in the projects in Sheepshead Bay. So those weren't like really bad projects. They were like the good old people projects. So I can't front, I mean, they were the projects. There were some bad parts, but not like, Brownsville, And then my dad's mom lived in Bushwick for almost up until I was like in my 20s. And then she finally did what every Puerto Rican does when they're done with New York. What does every Puerto Rican do when they're done with New York? They move down to Florida. Not just Florida, but to Orlando. Not just Orlando, but to where? To Kissimmee. So, I rep Kissimmee too, I guess. I can drive. I've been to Kissimmee enough that I can drive around without a map and get to wherever you want to go eat at a certain place. You want some Puerto Rican food? There's this restaurant over here. We need some fresh hot bread. There's this restaurant over here. So, but New York, all day, every day. Hey, pretty girl. Yeah. How you doing today? Angie's telling me that she's going to sleep early because she knows that I have to do my recordings. So she sent me a text message saying that basically she's not going to talk to me at all this evening because I got to do what I got to do. But whatever. It's okay. Thanks for telling me. Let's see. Gigi, yes, New York all day. You know how we do. Kissimmee. There are a lot in college softball. Where's that accent coming from? Softball. Yeah, I love Florida. I keep telling Angie, listen, I need the vitamin D. That is the Latina in me. That is the July baby in me. So I 100% need the sun. And I told Angie, I just need to move to a place where it's warm. And my aunt and my uncle are there. My brother, my uncles, my dad's younger brother and sister. And they're like, when are you coming? When are you coming? Are you moving? We need you here. My grandmother wanted me to move there. I almost did. But I have issues with like making big moves like that. I almost did. I could have gone to live with my grandmother, I used to work for Home Depot back in the day when I was in retail. So I could have absolutely transferred to a Home Depot out there, lived with my grandma, saved up a couple of months rent, and been living out there. But how different would my life have been? I would have never met Angie, maybe. I do believe. How do you guys feel about that? Do you believe in fate, that to the extent that if it was meant to be, it would have happened anyway, just under different circumstances? Like, so if Angie and I were meant to be together as a couple, even if I would have ended up transferring to Home Depot and building my life in Florida and Kissimmee with my grandmother and my aunts and my uncle, do you think that we still would have met? Do you think our relationship would have been just the same? Or is that like messing with time? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because I believe, so while you guys are typing your thoughts, I do believe that in fate, to the extent that if you were meant to be together, you still would be together. So if I would have ended up moving to Florida, Angie probably would have brought her kids to Disney World. And maybe I would have been a manager there somewhere, and I would have, she would have seen me and instantly fell in love with me, because that's what happened before, right, Ange? She instantly fell in love with me when she saw me. It was love at first sight. So she would have brought her kids to Disney World, and she would have been like, who's that hot Puerto Rican? And because I'm in the sun all day, the tan would have been right. So I really would have been a hot Puerto Rican. So at least in my mind, that's how it plays out. I don't know, Angie, if you're still listening, tell me your thoughts. The Fireplace says, what do you think about the Will Smith and Chris Rock situation? See, you trying to be controversial. We could talk about it. You missed the Knishes. I will come back to that. Fryer. I will come back to that. If I remember correctly, Irvin is your first name. Yeah? Tell me if I'm wrong. It's Irvin Fryer. Don't be mad at me if I'm wrong. Keith did talk to me about you. So you grew up on the Florida Bay. Oh, so you know, always at the beach. Has its own emoji. Oh my God. That is hilarious. Talk about fate. I don't know. Wondering the same thing. I think that that's what it is. What's cracking, K-Walk? How you doing today? Irving Fryer is my name. Yes, I knew that. Yes, good. Thank you. Oh, snap. Don't want to drop stuff. So I moved some stuff around today, and I think that that's why my loop deck isn't working, because I completely disconnected my Rodecaster Pro from my computer, and I didn't restart my computer. And so I think that that's why loopback isn't working. So as soon as I'm done with the stream, I'm going to test that out. But I moved some stuff around. So normally, my teleprompter mount, I will always have my teleprompter mount with the confidence monitor. That's how I'm talking to you guys here. I have my chat. So I have my little eCam window on this side of the screen. And then on this side of the screen is the comments window. So I can just look at you, read the comments, be good to go. Then, I have my ultra wide right here. So all the other eCam windows, and when I do like Safari screen share, that's here. And like I told you this week, I found a way to connect my iPad Pro. So now I have technically 3 monitors. And we were talking about me getting a mount. And so I used to have my Rodecaster Pro on a VESA laptop mount with a monitor arm. So it was, here, but to the right of the camera. So right over here, right out of view. And I can just reach and touch it, and it was there. Then between the loop deck and my stream deck, I end up not necessarily using the sound effects on my Rodecaster Pro now, because I'm using the sound effects on both the stream deck, right? So, okay, I said, all right, maybe I can have that out of the way a little bit, and I can repurpose the VESA laptop mount and put my iPad Pro directly under it. So, because you guys know how much I love a behind the scenes. So while I do a behind the scenes, and let's see if this continued to work, because I was trying to do, it should work. Let's see, let's turn on NDI. And Irving, I'm going to get back to your question. So I was moving some stuff around, and I like this placement so far. I like this placement because I can get this microphone kind of out of the way. I actually like that a little bit better. Move the microphone this way out of the way. It clears up the space directly in front of me. I did say loop back. I said both. You are not confused, my good sir. You are not confused, because I did say both, and I will show you. Let's do this broadcast mode here. All right. And Filmic Pro. Filmic. Where is Filmic Pro? So check this out, what I did. And let me go to a new scene. Let us switch the camera this way. Is this working? Yes. And so you can see what I did was I took the Rodecaster Pro off of the mount, and I put my iPad there. So I had the Rodecaster Pro on this mount. So let's move it so you guys can see. So that's a VESA laptop mount, and you can angle this you can just twist it. I have it angled almost straight up and down, but I had the Rodecaster Pro out. This arm was out that way, had the arm placed down a little bit lower, had this angled more flat, and the Rodecaster Pro was sitting side by side between my confidence monitor and, the Rodecaster Pro would be here. So if I wanted to have the sound effects, I literally can just press the button and control whatever. But I ended up not using it as much. Oh, whoa, hold on. Now I messed up my whole anything here. So what I ended up doing was I disconnected my Rodecaster Pro. I have all this empty space back over here that I wasn't really using. You can see I have all my XLR cables and stuff back there. So I'm going to clean it. I got to redo all my wiring. Don't judge my wiring. But I slid the Rodecaster Pro under there. All my levels are the same. I still can reach my sound pad if I need to, right? So I still have access. No big deal. Then I have my Stream Deck. I do have my loop deck here, Irvin. And then I was talking about my, if I can get it, I was talking about loop back. And you can see that that's what I'm saying. So the loop back normally, this is the Rodecaster Pro. You can see it's not receiving any signals. So this is supposed to be my Rodecaster Pro. It's supposed to be here going up and down to receive signals. So something's happening. I think I just got to restart my computer. But so the reason why I did that was because now I have 3 screens. I have my iPad screen, and you can see that that's the eCam window. This is the live YouTube chat, my confidence monitor here, and the eCam chat window there. And so that's, I'm loving it so far. Very happy with this setup, but I think that with unplugging and moving around, it kind of messed up my flow. So now I got to see what happened over here. Let's move. Let me get my chair. I decided I will be buying the autonomous ergonomic chair very soon. Very soon. So let me check in on you guys. Let's see, where are we? Let's go back over here. All right. Ob says, my parents gave me crap saying I would have been down on the Honduran Islands when I had my cycling accident. Oh, listen, you know parents, they want to give you crap just to give you crap. K-Walk says, I'm doing Zoom management for my parents who are clueless. Girl, man, listen. Let's move this. Can I move this around? Oh, nope. Command Z. Let me get another one. So I use the reason why, and I was talking about this yesterday, Irvin, another good friend of mine, Robert Kennedy III, we both use loopback definitely for Zoom, but there are other instances where you would want to use loopback outside of Zoom. So I have a bunch of, and I know that Keith was telling me that we should link up for the Stream Deck because I have a whole Stream Deck masterclass. So with the Stream Deck, you can download different songs. It's all royalty-free music, different sound effects and things like that. And in order for eCam and your stream to hear that music that you get from the Stream Deck store, if it's on your Stream Deck without any crazy extra workaround, you just want to press the button on your Stream Deck and have your stream hear it. That's another instance when you would want loop back. And so normally I have my virtual microphone with my Rodecaster Pro, and then I also bring in the Stream Deck audio, and then that's the mic that I use, the combined. So when I have my stream, you guys can listen to the sound effects. And it went kaput. So I got to figure out what happened. Why did it go kaput? Angie says, I agree. We would still have met one way or another. But you needed to say the second half, Angelica, that you would have instantly fallen in love with me the minute you saw all of this Puerto Rican goodness. You needed to, that was really what you were supposed to agree on. Gosh. Got a studio in my bag, looking for reasons not to check out. Girl, what do you mean? Like, not to check out? K-Walk, I need more information. Angie says, I'm dying. Love at first sight. Other way around. But I do believe we would have met just under circumstances. What is a person? What is for a person will always find them, good or bad. Listen, apparently I'm like hooked on phonics today and I couldn't read that sentence. Thanks, honey. But yeah, love at first sight. I don't even know why you thought that was funny. K-Walk, coming with a question. I've purchased LumaFusion on your recommendation. Would you say Filmic Pro is worthwhile investment as well? That's a great question. If you are using, the only time I use Filmic Pro is when I'm bringing in the camera to Ecamm through NDI, because this is the only feature, the only reason, because Filmic Pro will give you clean HDMI out wirelessly. Because if we turn on the Ecamm, right? So let me show you the difference. That's a really good question. So, and the answer to that question is, you'll need it if you're bringing it in through NDI multiple times a week, or at least once a week. I would say invest in it. If you don't know when was the last time you brought in your iPhone camera into Ecamm, I've never used Filmic Pro outside of what we just did. So let me show you this. Let's go back to that scene. Let's go here, right? So now you're seeing all the controls. This is Filmic Pro. You're seeing all the controls. All I have to do is touch the screen and you don't see any controls, right? So let me just go here on a flat surface and you can see all of that good stuff. I can hide it. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go to my camera app. Look at this old guy. Look at this old man. That's his little beard. That's all you can see. That's my doggy, Tyler. This is the default camera from the iPhone. And oh, there is clean HDMI out. Never mind. There might have been an update because it's clean HDMI out on the iPhone. And we didn't have that before. And the lines, I always have those lines on. I can turn those grid lines off. So you might not need it, K-Walk. However, it's not changing the orientation. That I don't like. So you can see it's weird there. That's portrait mode. And then this is landscape mode. I don't want to make you guys dizzy. Sorry. So the orientation isn't changing. But again, how often are you really using? So that's the difference between the two. So trying to figure out how often would you really use that one feature? If you're not using that one feature, or you're not bringing in, I use the iPhone camera, the built-in iOS camera for everything. Even if you're gonna do like recorded videos, I use one of my tripods, right? What I do for a really good quality video, if I need to use my iPhone, is I'm gonna use a tripod. I'm gonna use the rear camera, take advantage of my Apple Watch, look at the camera view on the Apple Watch so I can make sure that whatever it is, if I'm doing like a selfie mode, if I do selfie mode, I always try, like if it's a video, I will still use the back camera to get the best quality. And then I'll make sure if I'm doing selfie mode, right, I'm looking at myself like this. I'm looking at my watch to make sure that I'm in frame. And then I just record this way with the back camera, with the built-in iOS, because their camera, it does wonders. It's amazing. So, hey Sean, what's going on? Thank you for coming through, Mr. Information Man Show. I appreciate you. Wondering how I had it set up. Yes. Thank you. Did you just show us your setup with your phone? Yes, sir, I absolutely did. I did. That is called NDI. So what I did was, and it was all wirelessly. So there's an app. So you can bring in your iPhone wirelessly to Ecamm using NDI. So you would need, in this circumstance, two apps. You definitely need the one app. So it's called NDI HX. You turned that on and that will send your image quality wirelessly to Ecamm. Ecamm picks it up as a camera source wirelessly. And so then all you have to do is then open up your phone, switch it out in Ecamm, and now you are seeing my studio, right? The background, behind the scenes. Go this way. Hello. Hi, how are you? And so you can see my whole studio all set up wirelessly. I love using NDI. So if I wanted to have like another view this way, I just need to make sure that it's flattering, you know? Yes, you get the point. You get the point. But yes, I love using NDI. And I do that all the time for behind the scenes stuff to show you guys. All right, let me get my mouse back. Ooh, we are coming on. I think I've spoken to you guys for 30 minutes. I have 33 minutes. We are about to wrap up. K-Walk says, love behind the scenes stuff. Speaking of parents, what? When did we talk about parents? I'm confused. What? Puerto Rican Buttercup. You know, I need to know where Puerto Rican Buttercup is as well, because I have not spoken to Puerto Rican Buttercup, I think, since Saturday. I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm feeling neglected. I'm about to start shouting her government out. Is what I'm about to start doing. So I need to find out where she is. How are you doing that with your phone? That's dope. I got you. A little bit late. K-Walk says Filmic Pro is $15, but I like the ability to change ISO and settings that I can't on. So then definitely get it. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with Filmic Pro. I don't do any of that stuff, honestly, on the iPhone per se, right? Because then at that point, I'm just picking up one of my cameras. But it is a really good app. So for me, with things like that, my thought process more often than not is I'd rather have it in my tool bag, right? Like loopback. I'd rather have loopback in my toolbox than not, because it'll be the one circumstance where it's like, oh, I need it now. And now you're scrambling in a pinch to get it. And so it's not all the time, but there are certain things, like if you talk to a handyman and they have a toolbox, there may be this one tool that they use once every 5 months or whatever it is, but it's the day that they're actually at the job has it. If it's not in their toolbox, now they got to go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or wherever, and it's just going to make things more complicated than what it needs to be. So I am a firm believer in that, especially when it's when it's inexpensive. We're not talking about cheap versus expensive, but just inexpensive. If it was something that it's like $200 or $300, I'm like, K-Walk, how often are you going to use it, right? Because it's all about that value proposition. But for something like $15, if you know that you're going to use it for the additional features and another tool to have in your toolbox, 100%. Do it. Carlos, Motivated Minds, how you doing today, sir? What's cracking? What's popping? I will help you out, brother. I will help you out. NDI, India and NDI. That was a thing. Don't see Paul Duncan. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yes, Paul is moderating today for the ENN show. He did remind me. So thank God he reminded me, because I forgot. But he did remind me. And I told him that on Mondays, because I really didn't want to switch my time, because you guys now know, unless I have something for the bank, like on Wednesday, I got to figure out what I'm doing on Wednesday, actually, because on Wednesday I have eCam and then I have the ERG networking event. Wednesday, I'll be changing the time, right? But you guys are already used to, for the most part, knowing that I come on at like 7 o'clock every day. So I said, all right, I guess I can share you with everyone else, I guess. So Carlos says, when will you do an interview style live stream with Angelica? Would love to see you both together while in separate places. And then this folio, I'm camera shy, Carlos. Carlos, the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Angelica, if you go to TikTok, Carlos, and if you look up Angie Gemini, you will find that this one Angie Gemini has 47,000 followers on TikTok. She is not camera shy. And I started to tell you guys yesterday actually about that. I did start to tell you guys, and then I got sidetracked because it's India and squirrel. So we bought the ¿cómo se dice? Exactly, Carlos. 47. It's like she texted me today because she has lost following. She actually had almost 50,000. And because she stopped posting and, the algorithms, blah, 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 all that stuff, she's actually lost following. Angie, as of today, has 47,652 followers on TikTok. Mrs. Camera Shy. And so going back to, we purchased the domains for her, and what we are going to do, we might be seeing each other this weekend. We're still trying to figure out the logistics. Long distance sucks ass, unfortunately. But if we see each other this weekend, then I told her that is one of the conditions, that she will have to jump on the stream. And we will be together in April, when her kids have their spring break. She's going to come down and we're going to do some cool Philly stuff and just spend time together. And one of the days during the week that she is here in April, one of the live streams will be that we're going to build out her website, probably on Wix. I think we're going to use Wix. We're going to build out her website live on the stream. So she will have her own mic. We're going to do a screen share. We'll have one talking head for me, one talking head for her. And we're going to go through the process of building a website from an absolute beginner's perspective. And then Angie will be on, and that'll be, I'm sure, really great. India being a control freak and all, we'll see how that turns out. So that Angie will definitely be on next month, but we're trying to get her on sooner. K-Walk coming through and saying, and remember, use a Q colon before your question. Otherwise, it's just a comment. Thank you, K-Walk. I appreciate you. Angelica Jimenez, is a different experience. Is it a different experience to live stream on TikTok? I will let her answer that question. If she's still here, So she's done, I think, 2 live streams. She was really getting into it last year, and then life happens to all of us. So the experience for her, what I will tell you from when she called me afterwards, the one thing I remember Angie telling me after her very first live was, she said, are your like nerves, are your like endorphins running? I feel like, oh my God, I just did a live. I can go run 1,000,000 miles a minute. And I told her, absolutely. So when I do my live streams at night, it's very hard for me. Like if we do a live stream, last year, remember there was one time last year we went 5 hours, right? When I was doing those longer live streams, I literally would have to go upstairs or switch when I was living with my brother in Pittsburgh, switch to play video games to just get my mind, like to get into a mode of not doing anything, because those endorphins that's a very real thing. Like I'm here, I'm hype, I'm talking to you guys, we dancing, right? We getting it popping. I get off the stream and I'm still like, oh my God. Ah! That's me screaming internally. So I remember Angie saying that she was like that. Like I said, the endorphins was just like, oh my God. She told me that she had a handful of her followers on. They were all asking questions and things like that. And if I remember correctly, when she did her live stream, totally different. I tell her all the time, babe, that's all you have to say. Totally different. I'm telling your story for you. You could have typed a little bit more. My Angelica. Irving says, I'm low tech, just above no tech. So I'll call Keith and have him connect you and I so you can walk me through the NDI. I got you, bro. I got you. And Gretchen also reminding everyone, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. Shayna, what is cracking? Thank you for coming through. Lives are exhausting for me. Real life, like I need a day of rest after. My lights just went off. So let's fix that because I have a timer. But now that I'm doing these live streams, I got to fix that timer because I'm always live streaming. That's my cue to go. So much for a 20-minute stream, but we are going to end the stream early. Lives are definitely, was it last night? Last night I was at, yeah, it was last night. This morning I had intentions of waking up at 6 a.m. And last night, I think we streamed for an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes yesterday. So we had a good stream, good content. I mean, I was hype with you guys, right? With the music, showed you guys a sneak peek of my website. And I was like on high. And then also with having myself in the mental mode to do those videos, that's a whole nother, right? Like, it's like I have different personalities. I have Banker India because I'm a banker by day, live streamer by night. And switching into those modes, it is takes a lot of mental toll. That's like when I do my first time home buyer seminars. It's the same thing. It's not a live stream, but I'm presenting to an audience, and you have to have your personality. You have to be like, because I want to engage. I was so tired last night. Once I finally went to sleep this morning, it's so funny. Angie was texting me, and I'm a very light sleeper. So I use Bose sleep buds. If you guys don't know what the Bose sleep buds, and I'm not talking about buds, I'm talking about earbuds. If you don't know what Bose sleep buds are and you are a light sleeper, you need that in your life. They are just earbuds just for sleeping that you can sleep on your side. They mask out noise. It comes with its own dedicated app that you do different like tranquil noise or like pink noise or ocean sounds and things like that. And so when I know that I really need to rest without having interruptions because I live in the city. So, I get the guys, the Dominicans at 3:00 in the morning with their ding, 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 going down my block. I put on my sleep buds, and Angie was texting me at like 7:00 this morning. She's like, you have a very busy day, honey. You got to wake up. Then she texts me again, get out of bed. I did not get out of bed until like past 8:00. I was just so tired. So it definitely takes a lot out of you, but it's like a good feeling. Let me see. K-Walk says, stand-up comedy was like that for me. I could be sick as a dog, but would hit the stage and totally kick in, right? Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Same thing for both my live streams and my first-time homebuyer seminars. Same endorphins rush going live. Felt like, right? It was like close to 2 hours. It was a long time. I know that when I finally sat down and Angie was done, she was tired. So we didn't even stay on the phone long. She was like half asleep. I was like, okay, well, I need to unwind. So I'm going to go read a book. I'm going to go do something because this is too much for me. I'm always laughing at myself so much in my lives that I'm not nervous. That's it. That's all that matters, right? Angie says, that's why I don't live stream on TikTok either. It's just not my space. The anxiety and the nerves are not for me. See, but that's because you haven't done it enough. And we're not going to start that argument now because no, but we will. You know what? I'm going to hold you to that. And we're going to talk about that when you do come on again on the show. You have the Bose sleep buds because my wife snores. So you understand, Irving. Usually I'm the snorer. So it's so funny when Angie was at my house 2 weeks ago, and I only snore when I'm exhausted. Speaking of which, I did snore last night. I only snore when I'm exhausted or when I'm sick. And apparently when Angie was at the house 2 weeks ago, it was probably the night that we hung out, the date night after my live with Gretchen. We were out late. I had a few drinks, was exhausted, was a long day. And she told me that I was snoring and she like rolled me over, which was kind of rude, but I didn't realize, but she wasn't having it. But I love the Bose sleep buds, right? Listen. All right. So it's one of those things, if you know, that's it. And y'all know that the Bose sleep buds are life. Oh my God. Just help me get a good night's sleep. When my brother and I go live, I'm constantly playing the street man, so I don't have enough energy to be nervous. Exactly. I feel that. Okay, that makes sense to me. All right. You know what? So I did want to get back to Irvin's question about the drama because everybody's talking about it, and then that's how we're going to end the night. So Irvin asked earlier, let me see, let me just do a eCam search and type in Will, and that pops up. What do you think about the Will Smith and Chris Rock situation? So it's so funny because I was talking to Diana about this at about 5:00. We were on the phone for a little bit. We were catching up. And Angie and I spoke about it all day. And so what I personally think, I'm not mad at, we're going to start a controversy. And I'm worried that by starting this controversy, I need to end the stream because I got to record. But we're going to talk about it. It's fine. I'm not mad at him. I'm really not mad at him for doing that. A little, but not really. So here's the thing. You don't know what people's struggles are, right? You don't know what their day may have been like as a couple, what Jada's day may have been like as a woman first, a mother, and a wife. You don't know what her day looked like that day or what her days have been looking like. Then you take into account that she is a wife and Will Smith is her husband. And it's one of those things that, and I don't think that it's a man or a woman thing, because without giving too much of our personal information, there have been circumstances with Angie and I, with her life, that I'm ready to beat somebody up. That's what I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I am ready to fight. And I can't do that because I have a corporate paying job, a very good corporate paying job. So I can't beat people up. I can't be going to jail and having a felony, because then I can't work for corporate America, and corporate America pays the bills. However, because Angie is the love of my life, and all I want to do is just protect her, right? Like I see her and I'm like, oh my God, she's so sweet. Like I just love her. And why is someone making her cry? And why is, right? And then I just want to go bash that person's brains in. I'm not saying to do this. I am not condoling. I'm just saying, like, right? It's that instinct that I'm in love with this person. Someone else has hurt this person to the capacity that they're genuinely feeling real emotions, right? All you want to do is protect that person. And I think that that's the animalistic, right? Like you have fight or flight. There's so many different things outside of, there are like, we have things with our maturity and why I probably should have gotten into this sooner, because I would love to hear Carlos's thought process from a psychoanalysis perspective. But there are, in my opinion, animalistic instinct that we have as humans, as people. And then your common sense and your brain kicks in, and that's something totally different, right? So you have this animalistic like thing, right? Exactly. Gigi and I were just talking about this weekend multiple times. Might not condone it, but you understand it, right? Because it's those things. You take me out my character, and my character don't happen all the time, but it got to be something big. And so for him, there was a trigger, and we don't know what that trigger was. I didn't know that Jada was suffering from alopecia since 2018. It was when I went to research of what is happening that was one of the very first things that come on. So there is clearly a medical condition there. And for all we know, and this is where my perspective is, and Irving, you did the right thing by starting a controversy tonight. But I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. But the way I look at it is, what if there's something more to Jada's health condition that we don't know about, right? When Chadwick Boswick passed away, Black Panther, and forgive me for not getting the name properly, but you guys know who I'm talking about. No one knew that he had cancer. This dude was still recording movies and going through, radiation, chemo, all of that stuff. Yeah, he lost weight, but for us, from an actor's perspective, they lose weight and put on weight all the time. We had no idea that he was suffering from this disease that eventually took his life. So because of that, I said to myself, if she's sick and we don't know, and you don't know what is happening in his mind, that's his wife, the person that he loves. And I don't think it's a man-woman thing. It's just, I'm in love with this person. This person is my person, and I want to protect my person. And he snapped, and it was a trigger. And so I'm not mad at it. But the piece of it is, for me, then it's the disappointment, because it's like, because now that's what everybody's going to remember. That's what everybody's going to say. It's going to be, you see, you can't trust, it's whatever racists that there are out there, because that's a very real thing. You just gave racists any sort of fuel and ammunition to keep stereotypes alive, unfortunately, because it's someone who is of influence, someone who is in the spotlight, and they make a mistake. And that is all a racist needs to keep that going. And so for me, I'm mad at that because it's like, oh, that's what they're going to go on to. That's what they're going to hold on to. And that's what they're going to look like. And it's just going to fuel whatever, and it's like, and me and Angie have these conversations, these heated debates that I absolutely love her for all the time, because I'm like, listen, as a community, we need to do better, because unfortunately, the reality is that there are stereotypes, right? So I'm a lesbian dyke that everybody, right? That's what people think of. I'm either a spick or a dyke or a butch. And I don't like being called any of those three names for me personally, not when it's being used in a derogatory term, right? And so I try very hard, and I'm very conscious of it because I dress in a more masculine manner. So I teeter that if it's someone who is ignorant and they want to offend me, that's going to be the first thing that they go to, or you're just an effing dyke or whatever it is. And then I'm triggered. I have been triggered in the past. So then I say, there's these stereotypes that just, we can't control the stereotype. The only thing we can do for the stereotype is to rise above the stereotype so that the stereotypes become minimal and minimal and minimal. But the first time someone does something to feed into that stereotype, all the hard work that we've put into it is now blown up. So let me check on you guys, because y'all guys have me streaming today for a damn hour, and I said today was going to be a freaking 20-minute stream. Excuse me. That's some good cold water. Gigi says, I'm so done with the whole mess. I mean, I am too. But Irving, he wanted to create a controversy tonight, and I'm with it. It's all good. Carlos says, I hope you're able to be a little bit more flexible, Angelica, be able to live stream since you seem so natural behind the camera. Thank you, Carlos. Tell her. Appreciate you. Chris said what he said. Will did what he did. Let's move on. Controversy. Yeah, I thought I would be the odd man out. Nah. You can take, thank you. So, right. That's the same thing with me. You can take the girl out of Brooklyn, but you can't take the Brooklyn out of the girl. And when me and Diana were talking, the first thing that I said was, they have that saying, you got the wrong one today. See, when you really bout it, that the saying becomes not you got the wrong one today, is you got the right one today. That's when you bout it. Somebody's coming at you and you just do that. See, you got the right one today, because I'm going to get your ass. And I have absolutely said that in my time and day, but no longer, because I work for corporate America and I love my job. However, for those of y'all that know that saying, oh, you got the right one today, son. Right? And that's what happened. He caught the right one at the right time. That's how I feel. Simply All says, I am, as a disabled person, I would stand up for any of my people. 100%. You're wash cracking mix. Yeah. Philly folk will throw snowballs at Santa. We got that straight out of Rocky mentality, right? Take into account that Jada has alopecia. Exactly. 100%. Let me see. Chadwick Bozeman. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. We as people are cruel as fuck. You are 100% right. I binged the Avengers series, saw him in a new light, and find him as a point of inspiration at 100%. To know that he was filming those movies and to see how he, his work ethic and what the work he put through. Absolutely. Carlos says, we need to learn to love with healthy boundaries. When we react, we tend to be in our lizard brain. We need to step back and get into our wise mind to respond in a way that's most effective. And that's why I said that, right? Because it's that immediate, that jerk reaction. It's like, what is it? Like the synapses in your brain fire off. But then there is your actual brain and your emotional intelligence that you need to be able to control that and say, okay, this is not right. Try to be sensitive and aware of what my patients are going through. See, that's a huge thing. Unfair that we as people of color are representative of our entire race. Listen, that's a whole nother, right? No other race has that level of responsibility, but that's a very real thing. And me and Angie, we argue about that, not in a bad way, but we have debates. So we don't argue. That's a bad description. but we have very heated intellectual debates that I absolutely love with her. But we be going at it and I'll be like, no, and she'd be like, no. And that's definitely a great point of our relationship, to have those differences of opinion, because I stand so Angie believes that there should not be, that shouldn't happen, right? So with what Gigi is saying, exactly this, no other race has that level of responsibility, and that is unfair that one person unfortunately is represented as a whole. So that's how Angie feels, right? And I feel that way too. But then I'm like, listen, but we can't control what the majority thinks, and you can't control a stereotype. So for me, you have to rise above the stereotype. That's how a stereotype is gonna, but listen, because I'm looking at my countdown timer. Well, there goes that. Simply all says, I'm with you. Straight, not straight. We are all the same. Exactly. Hey, Caleb, what's going on? Yeah. I appreciate you. We are here for the badges. That's all. You guys are using me for badges. You guys are using me today. Spelled it today. Carlos says, something deep was triggered in Will last night. He wasn't just bothered or irritated. He was motivated to go at Chris because he deeply personalized Chris's joke. It most likely been building. And again, that's what Diana and I spoke about. There was a trigger. That wasn't just a joke and I lost my reaction. There was something so much more behind that reaction. And I'm not saying that it's justified. I'm 100% not saying that it's justified. But what I'm saying is there was 100% more of that. So K-Walk says, you got the right one today. Sounds like some of my parents who want to roll up in my school and make some reverse suspensions. Nope, you got the wrong one today. Because the Paul Duncan is not here. But K-Walk, you know what that is? You got but they got the right one with you. That's what it is. You got the right one today. That's how, listen, man. Right? Man, listen. That is hilarious. So, I guess I can talk about it today and tomorrow, and then we're going to end it there. So I will put my ending music on. So let's do this. Because, that's how I keep myself accountable. My ending music. But, so we were talking yesterday. I have to record some classes. It's already 8 o'clock here, but I will record some classes tonight. I do have my brain is all fired up, so I'm good about that. My curls are looking right, so that's good as well. So I spoke to you about my masterclass. I did buy some goodies today. So I did narrow down some of the goodies from Elgato. I bought a Key Light Mini, the way I told you guys. I bought the Elgato Stream Deck pedal. I bought the multi-mount kit. So the multi-mount desk stand with the flex arm with the regular arm. So it's going to be a good package. So I bought it today. I'll show you guys tomorrow a visual of it. I brought some other things, but I'm trying to think what I want to do. I don't know if I want to do 2 giveaways. Still working on that stuff. But I'm excited. Thank you. Simply, I was just like, yep, play that music because my countdown timer. 22 days in, 78 days to go. I am very excited. I appreciate every single one of you guys for coming through, keeping me entertained and allowing me to keep you entertained. You guys are the absolute best. Get cracking. Hey, what do you have on your iPad again? Notability? Is that what you mean? I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Those recordings get done, you can grab the masterclass. No, I'm not selfish, just motivated. I hear you. We're gonna do it. Little info, a lot of fun. Make sure you get the thumbs out on the way. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I'll send you a message, Obs. You should be able to hear this music now. I gotta fix that problem.